Boley, Oklahoma is a very interesting place, with a past as unusual as this weekend was. Every year at this time, people flock in from every corner of the country to visit old friends and relatives. I was asked to be in the parade, riding horseback, which is not one of the skills I learned at Fairfax High School in Los Angeles. Nearly 100 years ago, blacks built this town on the side of a new rail line to the west. The main enterprise was supplying wood for the old wood-burning engines of those days. Thousands of recently freed slaves poured in from the South, and one of the first thriving local black governments was formed. Boley grew quickly as other businesses sprung up with farming and cattle ranching, all contributing to a bustling all-black community. When the Depression hit, Boley nearly became a ghost town. It lost most of its population to big cities in the east and the west. Now, every year, old residents, their family and friends return to celebrate, and the big event is the rodeo, one of the few black rodeos in the country.
We all like it. That's why I drove 12 hours to get here, just to come to this rodeo. It's an annual thing to come every year.
Most people used to think the West was white cowboys and redskins, but kids growing up in Boley thought all cowboys were black. Anyway, the rodeo's been around since the beginning of white and black cowboys. These cowboys compete against all kinds of cowboys in rodeos across the country. Most of these men have been riding since they were youngsters.
I was born in South Carolina, and I got the feeling that I just wanted to be a cowboy by watching the movies. So I decided I wanted to come. When I was about 14 years old, I left home and came out here. During my days, I was about as good as anybody on riding bulls. And one time I worked all 5 major events. But at the time I was coming up being black, that was a stripe against me.
The black cowboys of the Old West had the same sort of problems as urban minorities in those days. They were usually segregated and refused the better jobs. But many of the most skillful cowboys then were black. And as the rodeos became popular, the black cowboy began to gain recognition. Many quit their low-paying, hard lives on the open range for the big money and excitement of this original American sport. Bareback riding requires strength, endurance, split-second timing, intense concentration, and years of experience with horses.
Hey, what are you doing?
Getting ready.
So you just kind of like put this on top of the bull?
Right, all bareback horse.
A bareback horse, right. And just kind of, hey!
It looks much easier than it is. No matter how much you practice, the slightest unexpected turns of the horse can give quite expected turns to the rider.
Now, you ride horses. What is that?
It's a bull.
Oh, let me get over here. Get a hold of this.
Bull riding is the most difficult and dangerous rodeo event. At Boley, it doesn't get started until after the sun goes down. Angry Brahma bulls really separate the men from the boys.
The idea of knowing that you're going to do that 1,800-pound bull, that's quite a challenge. I fractured this foot twice, still wrestling. Sliding in a rodeo in Macbeth, Texas, in the mud.
Got my ribs crushed in once. Dislocated my knee. Broke my arm. Got banged up a couple times.
A horn caught me in between my eyes.
A horn caught you in between your eyes?
Yeah.
And you're back on it?
Yeah.
You gotta work to be a champion.
To me, it was like being a star.
My father rodeo, and I always said I wanted to grow to be like my father.
Well, it's nice to know there are more job opportunities for black people now, but I'll be doggone if I know why they wanted to be cowboys.